Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Friday, June 17th, 2022. Today I'm going to recap Game 6 of the NBA Finals and just talk about the result and whatnot. And what's next? Stanley Cup Final, Game number 2. We'll preview and pick that game. Major League Baseball, WNBA, Major League Soccer, getting ready for the weekend. Golf. We have one NASCAR race this weekend. It's the truck race. And then we got news and notes and best bet. All right, NBA Finals. Game 6. The Golden State Warriors come out on top by a score of 103-90 to win their 4th NBA championship in an 8-year span. And it's their 7th in franchise history. Finals MVP Stephen Curry, well-deserved. Despite a bad Game 5. He was tremendous in Game 4, single-handedly pretty much won them that game. And was just unstoppable last night. And he had 34 points in the game. Also with 7 boards and 7 assists. He was just amazing. And for Boston, Jaylen Brown had 34 points to lead them in scoring. Golden State, I think this is the most unlikely title of their 4. There was a lot of doubt after some issues that they have occurred over the season. Like, people were questioning whether Klay Thompson and Draymond Green were the same players as they used to be. Draymond especially isn't, but really showed their championship DNA last night, those two players. And Steph, Andrew Wiggins wins his first career title. I think that trade they made with the Timberwolves is a big win for the Warriors. I never would have thought that at the time, because I looked at that at the time was Andrew Wiggins attached to a pick for D'Angelo Russell. But that trade is a slam dunk win for the Golden State Warriors, and just a travesty of a trade for the Minnesota Timberwolves now looking back. Because would you rather have Andrew Wiggins and a pick that turned out to be Jonathan Kuminga, or a point guard who's erratic in D'Angelo Russell? I think we know the answer to that. And for the Celtics, it's been a great ride for them. It's just that experience mattered when the pressure was on. It was kind of like the Eastern Conference Finals between the Rangers and the Lightning in hockey, except this is obviously a much bigger stage than that. And Jason Tatum, I still think he's going to be the man on a championship contender. He's still young, but he played a lot like a number 2 instead of a number 1 in this series. And Kevin O'Connor's right, and I think some of it has to do with the Warriors' defense and how they defended him, which is credit to Golden State. The pickup of Al Horford for Boston, or I should say the reacquisition of Al Horford, really helped them. But the Celtics have a lot to be proud of this year, and are going to be back in the conversation next year, although it's not going to be easy because you have the Bucks and Giannis. If Kevin Durant's still in Brooklyn, that's a threat. Although Kyrie's leaving, but we need to see if Kyrie leaves. I just said Kyrie's leaving, like he's actually leaving, but there's a lot of talk that he's leaving. Let's see what they can get for Irving. Miami's still Miami. They might add another piece. You have the Raptors, who are really good. You have Philly, who I think is a complete wild card because of James Harden. If they sign Harden to the max, then yikes. But if they sign Harden to, say, a 2-year max, not the worst thing in the world, I would say. But even if they sign and trade Harden and get some stuff back, and have a better team built around Joel Embiid, then that's a threat in the East. So I think that the Celtics are going to be challenged next year like they were this year. And meanwhile, for Golden State, they literally just walked to the finals. I mean, they caught, I think, a lot of lucky breaks. Phoenix with their COVID situation. That's why they ultimately lost to Dallas, but it wasn't reported until very recently. You had Ja Morant be injured for Memphis. That's a good what if. Like, maybe the Grizzlies win that series against them, and maybe the Grizzlies are in the finals with Ja Morant if he doesn't get hurt. So there's a lot of things that broke right for the Warriors that ultimately led them to get to this spot. But give credit to where credit's due. The Golden State Warriors are your 2021-22 NBA champions. And by the way, Steve Kerr, this is his 4th title as a coach. And I believe his 5th title as a player, which is insane. Or he has 5 titles as a player, 4 as a coach. He has 9, which is incredible. And Steve Kerr, everyone's talking about him as the top 5 coach all time. I'd say top 10. But top 5 for me is Pop, Phil, Pat Riley, Red Auerbach, and that 5th spot. I mean, you could argue Kerr. You could absolutely argue Steve Kerr for that. But there's other guys you could argue, like even Eric Spoelstra of the Heat, who I think is an amazing NBA head coach and gets a lot out of his players. But you could argue 5 or 6 or 7 for me for Kerr all time. So that's a good talking plot too. And then Curry all time, I'd say, is a top 10 player. I still think LeBron over Steph. I still say Kobe over Steph. Honestly, I would still say Kevin Durant over Steph. I just think that Kevin Durant's just had some of the worst luck. But Steph's right there, I'd say, with Durant. Like, that would be, like, where I would slide in Steph. And then, obviously, Jordan. He's the GOAT forever. So, Curry, I would say, is a top 10 player of all time. So, there's a lot of good, like, legacy stuff with this Golden State Finals win as well. So, it's been a blast covering the NBA on the show. A week from yesterday, so 6 days from today, is the draft. And then we have free agency coming up, which is always Christmas in the NBA. And, of course, going on right now still, we have the Stanley Cup Final, which we're going to get to now. Game 2 is tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on ABC. Sean McDonough, Ray Ferraro on the call. Emily Kaplan doing the little sideline. So, should be a really fun game tomorrow night. The Avalanche tomorrow night are minus 154. The Lightning are plus 128. Over under 6, minus 10 each way. Lightning plus 1.5 is minus 205. Avs minus 1.5 is plus 168. I'm trying again. I'm going with the Lightning. Plus 128. Championship teams find ways to respond. I know the Avalanche are really good, and they are a team that I feel has been the best in the league all season long, and if it wasn't for some injuries, they would have won the President's Trophy instead of the Panthers. But if Golden State taught us anything in their finals run, is that you just can't not doubt an experienced team. And the Lightning taught us that down 2-0 against the Rangers, too. So, I'm going with the Lightning, plus 126 against the Avalanche in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. All right, now move on to Major League Baseball. We will go over the results from yesterday, which was a small window, and look ahead to the weekend. A's over the Red Sox, 4-3. Oakland is 22-43. Boston, 34-30. Padres over the Cubs, 6-4. The Padres are 41-24. The Cubs are 23-40. Orioles over the Blue Jays, 10-2. Orioles 28-37. Toronto 37-26. Guardians over the Rockies, 4-2. Guardians 32-27. Colorado 27-37. Phillies over the Nationals, 10-1. Phillies 33-31. Washington 23-43. Yankees over the Rays 2-1 on a walk-off homer by Anthony Rizzo. Yanks are 47-16. Tampa 35-28. Mets over the Brewers 5-4. Mets 42-23. Milwaukee 35-30. Rangers over the Tigers 3-1. Rangers 30-33. Detroit's 24-39. And the Angels over the Mariners 4-1. The Angels are 30-35, and Seattle's 28-36. On Friday, which is today, we have a doubleheader. 1 o'clock. We have the Phillies against the Nats. Ranger Suarez and Jonah Dawn. I think this is a makeup date for the lockout games that got postponed. The Phils are minus 196. The Nats are plus 164. Over under 11. Overs minus 106. Unders minus 114. Phillies minus 1/2 is minus 137. Nats plus 1/2 is plus 114. The Nats are 45.2% to win according to ESPN Analytics. I'm taking them on the run line plus 1.5 at plus 114. I just think that is tremendous value on the Nats. 220 of the Braves of the Cubs. Braves going for 15 straight. Charlie Morton and Keegan Thompson. The Braves are minus 172. The Cubs are plus 144. Over under 8. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Braves minus 1/2 is minus 110. Cubs plus 1/2 is minus 111. The Cubs are 46% chance to win. We do the same play. Run line plus 1/2 and minus 111. 6 o'clock, Rays Orioles from Camden Yards. Shane Baz and Dean Kremer. Rays minus 154, Orioles plus 130, over under 8.5. Overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Rays minus 1/2 is plus 106. Orioles plus 1/2 is minus 128. I'm going to go with the under. I think Shane Baz will bounce back from his rough outing earlier. So I'm going to go under 8.5 at minus 104. 6:30, Brewers Reds. Eric Lauer and Hunter Green. The Brewers are minus 106. The Reds are minus 110. Over under 9.5, minus 110 each way. Brewers minus 1/2 is plus 146. Reds plus 1/2 is minus 178. I can't believe the Reds are favored. I'm astounded. I understand that they're 46% according to ESPN Analytics, but the Brewers are 54%. I would have thought the Brewers would have been the larger favorite. Bounce back spot from Milwaukee, giving them on the money line minus 106. I love Hunter Green, but the Brewers are winning this game. 7 o'clock, you have the Phillies and the Nationals game 2. Bailey Falter and Paolo Espino. The Phils are minus 164. The Nats are plus 138. Over under 10.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Phillies minus 1/2 is minus 102. Nats plus 1/2 is minus 118. Espino's been really good this year. I'm actually going to take them on the money line in this game. Plus 138. To upset the Phillies. Giants Pirates. Carlos Rodon and Zach Thompson. Giants minus 205. Pittsburgh plus 172. Over under 8. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Giants minus 1/2 is minus 120. Pittsburgh plus 1/2 is even money. I'm going to go... This is a hard one. I'm going to look at first halves. I'm going to go with the... I don't like any of these, honestly. I personally am going to go with the Pirates' first half run line, plus 1/2 at minus 106, because Carlos Rodon's kind of not been that great lately. So, just to do something different there. Yankees Blue Jays, this is a good series. Jordan Montgomery and Ross Stripling. Although we thought Yankees Rays was a good series, but the Yankees obviously swept them. Jays minus 120, Yanks plus 102, over under 9, overs minus 122, unders even money. Yanks plus 1/2 is minus 196, Jays minus 1/2 is plus 162. Yankees are the pick. I don't know why the team with the best record in baseball is an underdog in this game. Jordan Montgomery is no slouch. Ross Stripling is a good pitcher, but he shouldn't be... I don't think the Jays should be favored here. I think this should be either a pick'em or Yankees minus 120. So give me the Yankees plus 102 against the Blue Jays. Marlins Mets. We know it's going for the Marlins, and it's Carlos Carrasco going for the Mets. This game is not posted yet, but depending on the size of an underdog Miami is, maybe I'll look at the Marlins. They're 46.1% chance to win according to ESPN Analytics. Cardinals Red Sox from Fenway. This is a good series. Adam Wainwright and Michael Wacha. So Michael Wacha against the team that he started with. They're minus 118. The Cards are even money. Over under 10. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Cardinals minus 1.5 is plus 155. Red Sox plus 1.5 is minus 188. So Cardinals favorite on the run line. Red Sox favorite on the money line. I'm going to go with the Cardinals at even money. Wainwright and Wacha have both been really good this year. 49.2% chance according to ESPN Analytics for the Cardinals and they're even money. I'm going to take St. Louis on the road. Rangers Tigers. John Gray and Tariq Skubal. Tigers minus 120, Rangers plus 102, over under 8, overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Tigers minus 1.5, or Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 184, Tigers plus 1.5 minus 225. Rangers favorite on the run line, Tigers favorite on the money line. I'm going to go with the Rangers plus 102 to knock off Detroit. 8 o'clock, White Sox Astros. Lucas Giolito and Framber Valdez. Astros minus 162, White Sox plus 136, over under 8, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 164, Astros minus 1.5 is plus 136. For this game, I'm going to go... I don't like any of these either. But I'm going to go first half result, Astros minus 105. 8:30, Padres Rockies. Mackenzie Gore and Kyle Freeland. Padres minus 148, Rockies plus 126, over under 12, minus 110 each way. Padres minus 1.5 is minus 104. Rockies plus 1.5 is minus 115. I'm going with the under. I know the Rockies are pretty valuable on the run line, but I like the under a little bit better. 9:30, Royals A's. Daniel Lynch and Frankie Montas. This game I can't find on here. It's not on FanDuel. Let me see if DraftKings has it. Let's see here. Major League Baseball. No, that's weird, but the A's are pretty big favorites, you would think. Twins D-backs. Devin Smeltzer and Madison Bumgarner. Twins minus 126. D-backs plus 108. Over under 9.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Twins minus 1.5 is plus 128. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 154. This is a tough one. Mad Bum is kind of reverted back to the old washed up pitcher he looked like before the good start of the season. So for this game, I'm going to go Twins first half result plus 105. Angels Mariners at 10 o'clock. Michael Lorenzen and Robbie Ray. Mariners minus 132, Angels plus 112, over under 7.5, overs minus 114, others minus 106. Angels plus 1.5 is minus 196. Rays minus 1.5 is plus 162. I'm going to go with the over. I like that a lot. Over 7.5 minus 114. And last but not least, on Apple TV Plus, you have the Guardians and the Dodgers. Zach Plesac and Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers minus 275, Guardians plus 225, over under 8, minus 110 each way. Guardians plus 1.5 is plus 105. Dodgers minus 1.5 is minus 126. I'm going with the under. Clayton Kershaw is going to pitch amazing, as he always does. And I can see Plesac pitching well, too, so I like under 8. It's a good pick. All right, Saturday, 2 o'clock, you have the Braves and the Cubs, 2:20, Kyle Wright, Justin Steele. 3 o'clock, Yankees, Blue Jays from Toronto. Jamison Tyone and Alek Manoah. 4 o'clock, Giants, Pirates, Alex Wood and Jose Quintana. Rays, Orioles, Jeffrey Springs and Kyle Bradish. Royals, A's, Brad Keller and Cole Irvin. White Sox, Astros, Johnny Cueto and Justin Verlander. Marlins, Mets, Braxton Garrett and Taijuan Walker. Brewers, Reds, Jason Alexander and Graham Ashcraft. Fox Sports 1, Rangers, Tigers, Taylor Hearn and Rony Garcia. Doubleheader Game 1, Angels, Mariners, Patrick Sandoval and Chris Flexen. 4:30, Phillies at the Nationals. Aaron Nola and Josiah Gray. 7:15 on Fox, Guardians, Dodgers, Cal Quantrill and Julio Urias. And Cardinals, Red Sox, which is probably going to be the game that Joe Davis and company will be at. Dakota Hudson and Cutter Crawford. 9 o'clock, you have the Padres and the Rockies, Nick Martinez and German Marquez. 10 o'clock, doubleheader Game 2, Angels, Mariners. We know is pitching in that game. And then you have the Twins and the D-backs, Dylan Bundy and Luke Weaver. Sunday, Father's Day, 12 o'clock on Peacock, Phillies, Nats, Zach Eflin and Jackson Tetrolt. 1:30, Giants, Pirates, Alex Cobb and Mitch Keller. Cardinals, Red Sox, Andre Palante and Nick Pivetta. Rays, Orioles, Corey Kluber and Jordan Lyles. Yankees, Blue Jays, Garrett Cole and Yusei Kikuchi. Marlins, Mets, Sandy Alcantara and Chris Bassett. Brewers, Reds, Adrian Hauser and Mike Minor. Rangers, Tigers, Dane Dunning and Drew Hutchinson. 2:20, the Braves and the Cubs, Ian Anderson and Kyle Hendricks. 3 o'clock, Padres, Rockies, Blake Snell and Antonio Senzatella. 4 o'clock, Royals, A's, Brady Singer and Jared Cohen. Angels, Mariners, Noah Syndergaard and Logan Gilbert. Guardians, Dodgers, Shane Bieber, we know is going for the Dodgers. Twins, D-backs, Chris Archer and Merrill Kelly. And Sunday Night Baseball, 7 o'clock on ESPN, you have the White Sox and the Astros. We don't know what's going for Chicago. And Christian Javier is going for Houston. All right, now we'll move on to the WNBA. That was a long baseball segment. We will go over the games from last night and look ahead to the weekend. Commissioner's Cup game last night, the Liberty over the the Mystics, 77-65, a big win for New York. They're 6-9. Washington is 10-7. Natasha Howard, 27 points and 9 boards. Natasha Cloud had 17 and 7 assists for Washington. All right, tonight, 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, you have the Storm at 9-5 against the Sun at 11-4. The Sun are -7.5. The total is 155.5. I like Seattle +7.5 at -118. I think they're live to a +250. 8 o'clock on Twitter, Commissioner's Cup game. You have the Mercury and the Wings. The Mercury are 6-9. The Wings are 6-8. The Wings are favored by 4.5. Total is 169.5. And taking the Mercury, getting the 4.5 and +176. I think they're live to win. And then on Facebook, Commissioner's Cup game between the Dream and the Sky. The Dream are 7-7. The Sky are 9-4. Chicago's favored by 9.5. Total is 155.5. I'm going with the Dream. Another underdog, +9.5 and -104. That's a high line in that game. No games on Saturday, but you have some games on Father's Day Sunday. 12 o'clock on ESPN, you have the Storm at the Liberty. 2 o'clock on CBS, you have a Commissioner's Cup game between the Sun and the Mystics. That's a good one. 3 o'clock, you have the Sky and the Fever. 4 o'clock on Prime Video, Commissioner's Cup game between the Sparks and the Wings. And at 6 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, you have the Lynx and the Aces. All right, now we'll do Major League Soccer. We will take a look at the weekend slate ahead, and why not do some picks? So we're going to do picks because it's a big weekend, and we're giving I just want to get some picks in. So 3 o'clock on ABC, you have Seattle hosting LAFC. Seattle's +115, draws +250, and FC's 2-1. So LAFC's first, Seattle is in 7th. I think LAFC can win this game. I'm going to take them 2-1 to win on the road. 5 o'clock on ESPN, you have the LA Galaxy hosting Portland. The Galaxy's minus 150, Portland plus 350, draw plus 290. The Galaxy are in 5th, and Portland is in 12th. So you have a team in Portland that's a good scoring team, but they can't keep it out of their net. And LA is a good defensive team. So my pick for this game, I'm going to go with under 2.5 goals at plus 130. Red Bulls hosting Toronto at 7 o'clock. Red Bulls among the best in the East. They're in 4th. Toronto is at the bottom. Red Bulls minus 410. Toronto 9-1. Draw plus 430. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals plus 160. 7:30 Club Football Montreal hosting Austin. Montreal, 3rd in the East, amazingly enough. And Austin's 4th in the West. Austin's pretty good. Montreal minus 110, Austin plus 230, draw plus 270. I'm going to go with Austin on the road, plus 230 to pull off the win. Columbus hosts Charlotte. Columbus is minus 140, Charlotte's plus 340, draw plus 250. Charlotte's 7th and Columbus is in 10th. I'm going to go with the draw here at plus 250. Orlando hosts Houston. Orlando minus 135, Houston plus 320, draw plus 260. Orlando 5th in the East, and Houston is 8th in the West. I'm going to go with the draw on this one, too, plus 260. Philadelphia hosts Cincinnati. The Union minus 180, Cincy plus 430, draw plus 290. Philly is 2nd in the East, and Cincinnati is 8th in the East. This is a tough one. Philly's a really good defensive team. Cincinnati's a really good offensive team. So for this game, I'm going to go... kind of like under 2.5 goals at minus 106. 8 o'clock, you have Chicago hosting DC United. Chicago last in the East. DC is 2nd to last in the East. This is a draw, automatic draw for me. It's plus 250. By the way, Chicago minus 115, and DC is plus 260. 9 o'clock, you have Dallas hosting Vancouver. Dallas is minus 220. Vancouver's 5-1, draw plus 310. Dallas is 2nd in the West. Vancouver is 11th in the West. For this game, I'm going to go with... I don't feel good about it, but I just like the number over 3.5 goals at plus 205. And last on the Saturday card, 9:30 of Salt Lake hosting San Jose. Real Salt Lake minus 135. The Earthquakes are 3-1. The draws plus 280. San Jose is in 13th in the West, and Salt Lake City, or Real Salt Lake, is 3rd. I'm going to go with another total for this game. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at plus 126. All right, now the Sunday window. 3 o'clock on ESPN2, you have Atlanta hosting Miami. Atlanta United minus 220. Miami is plus 480. Draws plus 340. Atlanta's 11th in the East. And Miami is 9th in the East. So, two lottery teams. I'm going to go with Atlanta to win, but they're so big of a favorite, so I can't really go there. So I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at plus 120. 5 o'clock, you have New England hosting Minnesota. The Revolution are minus 180. The Minnesota United's plus 370, and the draw's plus 320. New England is 6th in the East, and Minnesota is 9th in the West. So you would think New England's the easy pick here. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals again, plus 146. NYCFC hosting Colorado. Red hot NYCFC. They've won their last 5 matches. They're minus 220. Colorado's 5-1 draws plus 320. NYCFC's first in the East. Colorado is 10th in the West. I mean, NYCFC is just incredible. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals at plus 182, but I don't feel strong about it. And last but not least, 6 o'clock, you have Nashville hosting Kansas City. Nashville SC's minus 165, KC's plus 410, draws plus 270. Nashville's 6th in the West, and KC's last in the West. So for this game, I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at even money. That's just simple money here, if you ask me. All right, now we'll move on to golf. U.S. Open's going along, so we're going to go over to leaderboard as we head into the weekend. Your leader right now with the score of 6 under, pretty much running away with it right now because some of these tee times behind the leader are a little bit later, and that is MJ Dafu. Tied for second with 3 under, you have Rory McIlroy, Callum Tarran, Joel Dahman, David Lingermirth. Tied for 6 with 2 under, Matthew Neesmith, Brian Harman, Hayden Buckley, Aaron Weiss, Victor Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick, Adam Hadwin. Tied for 13th with 1 under, Colin Morikawa, Patrick Rogers, John Rahm, Max Homa, James Pyatt, Adam Scott, Will Zalatoris, Bayo Hostler, Nick Hardy, Sam Burns, Dustin Johnson, and Patrick Reed. Tied for 25th at even, you have Xander Schauffele, Sam Bennett, Wyndham Clark, Travis Vick, Daniel Berger, Hideki Matsuyama, Mark Leishman, Keegan Bradley, Adam Schenk, Seamus Power, Sean Norris, Justin Rose, Jason Kokrak, and Richard Bland. Now I'm going to go through notables because of time. Tied for 39th with 1 over, Joaquin Neiman, Joseph Brumlett, Mito Pereira, Cam Triangle, Sanjay Im, Gary Woodland, Scott Stevens. Tied for 53rd with 2 over, Davis Riley, Adam Putnam, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Haley, Harold Varner III, Cam Young, Mackenzie Hughes, Lucas Griffin, Taylor Gooch, Tyrell Hatton, Justin Thomas, Scotty Scheffler, Brooks Koepka, who was my pick, Webb Simpson, Shane Lowry, and Harry English. Tied for 73rd with 3 over, Brett Horschel, Vincent Perez, Kevin Kisner, Alex Noren, Stuart Sink, Taylor Hogue, Corey Connors, Luke List, Bryson DeChambeau. Tied for 94th with 4 over, Kurt Katayama, Sebastian Munoz, Sodi Kadiara, Scott Stallings, Andrew Novak, Tony Finau, Tommy Fleetwood, Bo Hogg. Tied for 108th with 5 over, Troy Merritt, Kevin Na, Sergio Garcia, Cam Smith. Tied for 120th with 6 over, Ryan Henley, Brandon Grace, Patton Kazir, Lucas Herbert. Tied for 131st with 7 over, Seb Straka, Evan Van Rooyen, Danny Lee, Luis Olsen. Tied for 141st with 8 over, nobody of note. Tied for 148th with 9 over, Phil Mickelson. And that's it among the notables in the U.S. Open. All right, one NASCAR race this weekend, and it's the truck race from Knoxville. It should be an interesting race. They have this all to themselves. So the sponsor of the race, I'm going to pull up in a second. I'm just going to go through the odds because I think the qualifying's today. So we don't have the starting lineup out. So this is the Clean Harbors 150. John Hunter Nemechek's a 6-1 favorite. Plus 650. Zane Smith, Todd Gilliland, Chandler Smith, Ben Rhodes. 8-1 is Stuart Friesen. 10-1 is Ty Majeski and Christian X. 15-1 Matt Crafton, Grant Effinger, and Buddy Kofoid. 25-1 Derek Krause and Carson Hosfar. 30-1 Tyler Carpenter. 40-1 Brett Moffitt. 50-1 Tyler Rankin and Matt DiBenedetto. 100-1 Tanner Gray, Kaz Gralla, and Haley Deegan. 250-1 Colby Howard and Chase Purdy. 500-1 Jack Wood, Dean Thompson. And then the rest are 1,000-1. Spencer Boyd, Timmy Hale, Thad Moffitt, Norm Benning, Chris Wright, Lawless Allen, Joey Gaze, Jessica Friesen, Devin Rouse, Bryson Mitchell, Brayton Laster, Brandon Mitchell, and Blaine Perkins. So my pick to win the Clean Harbors 150 tomorrow night. It's going to be on 9 o'clock on Fox Sports 1 from Knoxville. I think that Matt Crafton at 15-1 is some good value. So my pick for this race, I'm going to go with Matt Crafton at 15-1 to win this race. All right, now I'll move on to news and notes. I was going to do a hockey mock today, but we didn't really have time to put it together. So hopefully on next Friday's show or at some point next week, I'll have that mock draft for you. So some big news this morning. Vince McMahon out as WWE CEO as he announces his resignation despite the investigation going on. And Stephanie McMahon will replace her father in the interim role. So I really can't say I'm stunned about this because it's a lot going on, and I think that Vince knows he's in trouble. So the 2026 World Cup cities have been announced across U.S., Canada, and Mexico, and one of them is MetLife Stadium, so which is pretty neat. And then I think Philadelphia got chosen as well. Obviously, the finals was the big story from yesterday. And after the game, the Warriors players were trolling the Boston fans by chanting F Draymond. And then Steph Curry goes, what they got to say now regarding the haters? We did not see Adam Silver last night because he's in health and safety protocols, and Mark Tatum presented the trophy tonight for the Warriors. Isaiah Thomas shaded the Celtics as he tweets, a response to a report that the team told Robert Williams playing through the injury won't make his knee worse. Oof. Billy Haslam to buy the Predators, as the Preds are nearing a deal to sell the team valued at $600 million to the former Tennessee governor. So that is very interesting. Some big hockey stuff going on yesterday is that the Montreal Canadiens acquire Evgeny Dadonov from the Vegas Golden Knights for Shea Weber. This is a very interesting trade. You knew the Golden Knights were looking to move Dadonov. That was one of the worst kept secrets. They almost traded him, and the trade fell through. And Shea Weber going to Vegas now. That contract, and hopefully he gets healthy, because he's a good player when he's healthy. And the Philadelphia Flyers hired John Tortorella, a 4-year, $16 million contract. You know Torts is going to make you work and makes you play defense. You know what kind of coach Torts is. So now this is the second former Rangers coach in a row for the Flyers. Mike Yeo obviously was the intern. He got fired, but Alain Vigneault and now John Tortorella, except it's in the reverse order. So that is a funny subplot, which is going to hype up that that Rangers fan base. And Brandon Dubinsky took some shots at John Tortorella, as he sent a message to some Flyers players after the Torts hire. Sean Avery found guilty, as he has been convicted on attempt criminal mischief charge after 2019 road rage incident. That is not great for the former Ranger. Rangers extend Sammy Blais 1 year, $1.5 million. Yadier Molina to the injured list with President knee soreness. So that is not good news for the Cardinals. Hopefully Yadi gets healthy. Steven Strasburg is believed to be dealing with a recurrence of thoracic outlet syndrome that sidelined him for a year. That is just very unfortunate. And hopefully we see Strauss again soon, but it's just such bad luck with him. Luis Severino was scratched from his start yesterday, and Clark Schmidt replaced him. But that was just temporarily, as he is back on the roster. And maybe he'll start this weekend against the Blue Jays. Aaron Judge says he won't be in the home run derby. Already did it once. And I don't blame him one bit. That messed up his swing in the second half of the season of his rookie year. So I don't blame him. Multiple teams trying to acquire the number 4 pick in the draft. The Pistons, the Pacers, the Knicks, and the Wizards are the teams trying to make trades with the Kings. There's the hot rumor that the Knicks love Jaden Ivey. And that would be a really interesting move for New York to trade up the 4 to get him. But we'll see. The Nationals are almost sure to be sold, as the price tag for the Nats is expected to land between $2 and $3 billion. The Diamondbacks are listening on Madison Bumgarner in addition to David Peralta and Zach Davies as the deadline approaches. I feel like we hear those names each and every year. Tommy Pham says he does not regret the slap. And he goes, there were about 100 people that thanked me. Yikes. Many teams would offer Shohei Ohtani a 4-year, $200 million deal that could set salary record for American sports, which would be insane. James Harden short-term deal, it seems likely, as Sixers ownership has been resident to the long-term deal with Harden. It's the right move. You got to go short-term with him or just sign and trade him. The Saints unveil a black helmet as they'll rock alternate helmet with gold floor for at least one game this season. It was a really cool helmet. And the other big basketball news from yesterday, Sue Bird to retire. As she says this will be her final season. So, she is one of the best WNBA players to ever live. She's a fabulous player, and I'm so happy that she had like this second prime in her and that the Storm built a contender around her. And then the SEC Big 12 matchups are out for college basketball. Kansas at Kentucky is the headliner. I feel like that's a headliner every year. I feel like those two teams play each other, and that if they don't meet up in the opening season face-off every couple years, if that's usually the case. Because I remember one year they faced each other in the opening night pretty much, and then Kentucky played West Virginia in the Big 12 SEC Challenge, and then Kansas played like Florida, or I don't remember who they played, but it wasn't Kentucky, obviously, when they played Kentucky in the opening season face-off. All right, so that's it for news and notes. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by DraftKings. I know where I'm going. I'm going to lay a half unit on it, and it's the over in the Angels-Mariners game. I'm surprised how low that number is. I know Robbie Ray's been good at points, so is Michael Lorenzen, but I just think that number in an AL West game is really low. So I'm going to lay a half unit on over 7.5 between the Angels and the Mariners for my best bet of the day. All right, that's it for today's show. We'll be back on Monday recapping everything from the weekend and looking ahead to everything coming up on Monday. I may have an activity for you. I just don't know on the top of my head what it will be. But I'll have something for you guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend, everyone.